Hi, this is Danny. I wanted to talk about filing a transfer upon death instrument. What's the problem? The problem is basically when you die, your property will wind up in probate. And probate is basically, it's a process. It's a court determining to whom all the assets will be distributed to. And your property is going to wind up in probate whether you have a will or not, unless you do something beforehand. And the problem is it's going to cost money, thousands, and usually it's going to take time, months to do this. I'm currently in the process of an aunt who left some property for my mom who wanted to go to specific individuals, including my mom, but it has to wind up in probate. They didn't have a transfer upon death instrument in their state. But basically, one option to do this before you die is either to set up a trust for your property, but an easier way is to set up a transfer upon death instrument. It's basically just filling out a form. This is an easy, legal provision that's it's a legal provision that makes it easy for you to pass your property upon your death to wherever you decide. It's not available in all states, so check if your state has it available to you. And so if you have a loved one that does not have a will or does not want to do one for whatever reason, it could be cost, it could be a hassle. This is an easy way to do this, for your loved ones upon their death, and it won't be transferred over until they pass on. Some of the benefits includes the filing this form costs you very little, just your time, maybe a couple of bucks for to have it notarized at a UPS store. But basically what happens is upon your death, your property is immediately transferred to the beneficiary. You have to provide the proof to the town that the person is actually passed, so it's usually a certificate of death. I haven't actually gone through this process yet because I've set it up, but I see the forms that are actually they're available to do this. But what it does is it removes the property from probate, so it won't be considered as part of the estate. That's very important. So when your loved one passes, the property won't be included in that process. They won't even look at it in those states if you fill out this form, and that's great because you could do whatever you want to the property when it goes into your name. And so if you don't have a will, this is the next best thing, because usually folks, their biggest asset is their home. One of the benefits is that you can revoke it at any time. You can save your beneficiary time. Usually it's your children or your loved ones. They don't have to wait for the probate process to do whatever they want with their property. And it basically saves time and money. And for some smaller estates where the home is the biggest assets, now it's not part of the estate. And usually in some what I've been reading is that the process is much simpler and less paperwork, and it's more streamlined when it's an estate that's smaller. The states that have these instruments are included here. The process is you do not need an attorney. You could fill it out by yourself. You just download the form. You don't need to pay anyone. In my case, I needed to have witnesses, and so I had the witnesses come to the UPS store, and they actually were able to notarize it. And in some cases, the UPS store will provide themselves witnesses. All they need is just your license. Once I filled out this form, I took it to the Recorder of Deeds. In this case, it was the state of Illinois, and they filed it, and it showed up in the town records. And this is what it looks like in Illinois and on the town records, and it will show up if they have an online process, and it shows a transfer upon death and to whom it's going to go to. This is what an actual form looks like in Illinois. It basically has your name and address of the taxpayer, has a description of the property. It also has a legal description of it, and it also has the beneficiary's name and the percentage share to whom it would go to. In this case, it was a third. And it says, before my death, I have the right to revoke this instrument. So this just gives you an example of what it would look like. These are a sample of the areas of witnesses. So every form is going to be different. But check with your town and see what they have, and do yourself a favor and get it filled out for your loved ones. Thank you.